I built her career from the ground up. She was lost after getting laid off, so I helped her turn her makeup hobby into something real. I believed in her more than anyone, booked her first shoots, even sent a few friends her way. One of them, a guy I knew from the gym. Friendly, charming, harmless, I thought. Until a month later, she started saying she had late-night clients and big gigs out of town. And I believed her, until I saw her wine glass in his Instagram story. I'm not a jealous guy. Never have been. I've always believed that if you love someone, you trust them. You don't stalk their phone or second-guess every smile. That kind of paranoia poisons good relationships. At least, that's what I used to believe. I'm 42 now, married 10 years, no kids. People ask why, and we usually joke that we were too busy building dreams to raise them. Truth is, we tried. It just didn't happen for us. And somewhere along the line, we stopped trying. But that wasn't the beginning of the end. No, the beginning came quietly. Her name's Erica. She's 34, striking in this graceful magazine cover kind of way. She's always had an eye for aesthetics, fashion, makeup, interiors. Even our tiny apartment in Brooklyn looked like it belonged in Architectural Digest once she got her hands on it. When the pandemic hit and she lost her marketing job, it gutted her. I still remember the way she curled up on the floor next to her laptop, crying silently after reading the layoff email. I didn't know what to do, so I tried to give her purpose, direction, hope. You've always loved makeup, I said. Why don't you do it professionally? I built her website, designed her logo, set up her booking calendar, email. All of it, every detail. She was hesitant at first, said she didn't know if she could compete with the Instagram girls. But once she started getting bookings, that self-doubt disappeared. She came alive again, and I felt proud, like I'd resurrected something in her, like I mattered. That's when Marcus, my workout buddy from Equinox, mentioned his fiancée needed a makeup artist for their engagement shoot. Luxury vibe, he said. Something soft and timeless. Without even thinking, I said, you should use Erica, my wife. She's insanely good. They met, they clicked, she did her magic. The photos turned out amazing. He tipped her well, and she was beaming for days. I remember looking at those photos. Marcus in his beige suit, his fiancée glowing like she stepped out of a bridal catalog, and thinking, this is good. This is what support looks like. This is partnership. The bookings kept coming. More brides, more events, weekend work, some late-night gigs, even a few overnight stays for bridal parties at rented Airbnbs. I didn't question it at first. Erica would toss her overnight bag into the trunk, kiss me on the cheek, and say, gotta hustle while it's hot. And I admired that. But then little things started to shift. She stopped asking for help with her bookings, changed her phone passcode, would angle the screen away from me when she was texting. Once, I walked into the kitchen and she clicked her phone off so fast it nearly slipped from her hand. Still, I told myself it was nothing. Maybe she just wanted privacy. Everyone needs space, right? I ignored the signs because I didn't want to believe I'd opened the door to something I couldn't close. But that door was already wide open. I handed her the keys to a new life. I didn't know she'd take them and drive straight toward someone else. There's a rhythm to every couple's life. Dinners, routines, habits, little rituals that create the illusion of stability. For years, Erica and I had ours. Now, I couldn't tell you the last time we had dinner together. Her bookings exploded. At first, I was proud, posting her work on Instagram, replying to DMs from brides, even tracking invoices. But one night, I asked if she wanted me to help manage her calendar like before. She just smiled faintly and said, "Oh, I've got it." Didn't look up from her phone. That was the first time I felt it, that strange, invisible wall between us. She was getting ready for another overnight job. Some bridal party renting an Airbnb in Soho, she said. Glam from 6 a.m. to noon the next day. Should be fun? She chirped, slipping on a dark green silk dress I'd never seen. The fabric shimmered under the hallway light. I raised an eyebrow. For makeup? That's a little. Relax, she laughed. We're grabbing dinner first. Just the girls. I'll change when we get there. I nodded, trying not to sound off. Well, You look stunning. She paused at the door. Thanks, babe. Love you. Then she was gone. She texted me a selfie from dinner. Cute lighting, perfect hair, bold lip, glass of red wine in hand. Her nails, almond-shaped, deep cherry, were fresh. I remembered complimenting them that morning. She captioned it, "The girls made me dress up, lol. Miss you." But something about the photo sat wrong with me. The way she angled the shot. The barely visible stem of another wine glass in the corner. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it didn't feel like a group pic. Marcus cornered me near the squat racks, talking about the engagement edits. He scrolled through his story highlights, showing off the rooftop photos. Crazy lighting, right? Shot at Noir, that place on Spring Street. Fiancé went wild over it. I froze. He clicked into a video just 5 seconds long. Neon pink glow, skyline in the background, jazz playing faintly. A soft, familiar giggle. In frame, that same green silk dress. The same red wine. And then her voice, unmistakable, flirty, and bright, "Stop filming me." The camera caught just enough of her face as she turned, laughing. It was Erica. My stomach dropped. My breath caught in my throat like I'd been punched from the inside. I felt like I was watching a memory that didn't belong to me. I didn't say anything to Marcus. Just nodded and mumbled something about heading to the locker room. I sat on the bench, phone in hand, and watched the video again. Over and over. And over. That smile. That tone in her voice. That dress I didn't buy. That laugh I hadn't heard in months. I wanted to believe there was some innocent explanation. Maybe he just ran into her. Maybe she was out with friends and he tagged along. But why would she lie? Why say she was going to a bridal sleepover and end up at a rooftop bar? Why pretend? I didn't ask her about it that night. Or the next. I needed more. I needed truth. So I turned to the one thing she hadn't thought to change. Interior, office, late night. I opened Find My. We'd set it up together once when she lost her phone in an Uber. I'd forgotten it was even on. That night, it pinged her just outside Williamsburg. Boutique hotel. Not a bridal venue. Not a client's house. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding. Once as an accident. Twice as a pattern. She came home late again. Past midnight. Her hair was different, wavier, styled like she'd had it professionally done. No makeup kit in sight. She smelled like something I didn't recognize. Not perfume. Something more expensive. Warmer. Long day? I asked. She yawned and nodded, avoiding eye contact. Bridesmaids were a nightmare. Rich girls from Jersey. All talk, no tips. Then she undressed, slid under the covers, and fell asleep within minutes. I lay there, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. Find My showed she'd spent 5 hours at the hotel. Check-in was at 6:42 p.m. She didn't leave until 11:51. The lies weren't even creative anymore. I started documenting everything. Screenshots. Timestamps. Cross-referencing her calendar with location history. I created a private Google Doc and titled it plainly, Erica Timeline, because that's what it felt like, piecing together a story that had already happened. I wasn't stopping anything. Just trying to understand it before it buried me. She left her makeup kit by the sink that day. I peeked inside. No brushes looked used. Foundation bottles still sealed. I lifted one, cap clean. She hadn't worked. Not that day. Not the last 3 overnight bridal bookings. I stared at my reflection for a long time. There's a quiet kind of grief when you realize you're sleeping beside someone who doesn't think you deserve the truth. Marcus was quieter lately. More evasive. I asked casually, "You and Erica still working together?" He hesitated just a beat too long. "Nah. My fiancé's cousin does our touch-ups now." "Oh," I said. "That a recent switch?" He nodded quickly, then checked his phone. "Yeah. Erica's schedule got weird. Real busy. Weird. Real busy." Same words Erica had used when she stopped letting me help with her business. That night, she showed me another girls' dinner selfie. Same angle. Different dress, lavender this time. I asked who took the photo. She blinked, confused. "What do you mean? The angle's high. Not a selfie. Someone else took it." She looked at the screen and shrugged. "Probably Michelle. Or Rachel. I don't know. But she did know. I could see it in her eyes. She knew exactly who had taken it." I waited until she fell asleep, then checked Find My again. Same hotel. Different room number. Twice in 1 week. I drove there the next day. Sat in the car like a ghost, engine off, just watching people come and go. Families. Tourists. Couples. No makeup bags. No bridal chaos. Just polished men in suits and women in designer boots checking in with overnight bags. I imagined her stepping into the lobby, laughing, her arm brushing against his. Did she think about me at all when she did this? Did it cross her mind that the man who built her website, the man who believed in her when she didn't, was now parked outside, unraveling? That night, Marcus posted again. A quick clip inside the same hotel. Muted jazz, dim lighting, room service tray on a marble counter. And then barely, her voice off camera. Her laugh. Playful. Effortless. That same laugh I hadn't heard directed at me in months. I hit screen record. Watched it 6 times. I had enough. It was time. I didn't say anything for 3 more days. I'd wake up, make coffee, and watch her sip it with the same old rhythm. Hair tied up, robe loose at the collar, scrolling her phone like it didn't hold a second life inside it. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. I wanted to ask who he was, but I already knew. Instead, I waited, quiet, cold, a version of myself I didn't recognize, watching the woman I married pretend to be exactly who she thought I still believed she was. That Thursday morning, she packed her makeup kit again. Said she had a destination bride upstate who was flying in from Atlanta. Full glam weekend, she said. Some influencer type. Wants 2 full days of looks and trial runs. She kissed me like always. Quick. Automatic. Her lips barely brushed my cheek. And she was gone. I waited until she was out of the building, then opened Find My. Pinged less than an hour later. Not upstate. Not even close. The hotel again. Same one. Same floor. At this point, it wasn't about proving it anymore. It was about watching her lie and realizing how good she'd gotten at it. Later that night, I messaged Marcus. No anger. No drama. Just a simple text. Hey man, you still seeing my wife for makeup stuff? Just curious, her calendar's been full lately. He saw it instantly. Read. No reply. 3 dots appeared like he was typing. Then gone. Then nothing. An hour passed. Then 2. At exactly 11:17 p.m., I heard the key turn in the door. She came in quiet. Hair messy in a way that didn't look like work. No makeup bag this time. Just her purse and jacket. She looked surprised to see me on the couch. Oh, you're still up. I muted the TV. Yeah, couldn't sleep. She didn't come closer. Just stood there, halfway between the door and the kitchen, like she was still deciding what version of the night she wanted to feed me. Then she said it. I think we need some space. No emotion. Just words rehearsed in a mirror somewhere. Measured. Neutral. I stared at her, waiting. Nothing about Marcus. Nothing about the hotel. Just space. I asked one thing. Is there someone else? Her throat bobbed. She shook her head too quickly. No. I mean, not like that. I felt distant for a while. Like we're going in different directions. I stood up, walked over, and opened my phone. Scrolled to the screen recording. Pressed play. There it was. That soft laugh. The clink of glass. Her voice in the background. Her dress. Her hair. Her reflection, half caught in a mirror as she reached for the wine. She didn't breathe. Didn't blink. The guilt came fast. Like she hadn't prepared for this part. Like she expected denial to be enough. He's just mentoring me, she said finally. Helping me grow my business. He believes in what I'm building. I looked at her. Is that what they're calling hotel hookups now? She broke. Right there. Started to cry. Said she was sorry. Said it hadn't been serious. That she didn't plan for any of this. I didn't yell. I didn't touch her. I just stood there, looking at someone I thought I knew. Someone I'd loved enough to build a future for. I felt absolutely nothing. She kept crying. Small, quiet sobs like she wanted to seem broken without being loud about it. Like if she cried softly enough, I might comfort her. I didn't move. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. I never meant to hurt you, she whispered. That's what they always say. Like intention erases consequence. She looked smaller than usual. No makeup. Hair messy. Still wearing the necklace I gave her on our 7th anniversary. The one she said made her feel timeless. I'd spent 2 weeks researching jewelers before I bought it. Had it engraved. Still us. Funny, right? She touched the pendant like she just remembered it was there. Then her face crumpled again, and she sat on the floor like her legs couldn't hold her weight anymore. I didn't plan this, she said. It just happened. It just happened? I repeated. She nodded. I sat back down on the couch, leaned forward with my elbows on my knees. You know what's insane? I said. I wasn't even mad at first. When I saw that video, that dress, your laugh, I didn't feel rage. I just felt gone, like I'd already been erased. Her eyes welled again, but I kept going. I gave you everything. My time, my energy. I made your website, booked your first clients. Hell, I gave you him. She looked up, confused. You remember that? The day Marcus asked for a makeup artist? I gave him your name without hesitation. I sold you to him like a proud husband pitching the woman he believes in. And now, you're sneaking into hotels with him like I never existed. It wasn't serious, she whispered. Wasn't serious? I scoffed. Then why lie? Why change your passcode? Why fake Airbnb bridal parties and girls' nights and full glam weekends? She didn't answer. I looked around the apartment. The framed pictures, the coffee table I built, the scent of her vanilla candles still lingering in the air. This place had been ours. Now it felt staged, like a model unit dressed to look like love used to live here. She finally spoke again. I felt invisible. I turned to her. Yeah? So you fixed it by disappearing me? I'm not saying it's right. I've been drowning. I didn't feel seen anymore. Not by you. Not by anyone. I nodded slowly. You know what the saddest part is? I said. I believed in you more than you believed in yourself. When you were broken after that layoff, I rebuilt you. I gave you the tools, the voice, the confidence. And you took all of that and handed it to someone else. She covered her face, sobbing harder now. But I wasn't angry anymore. Just tired. Just done. I stood up. Where are you going? She asked, voice trembling. I'm not doing this, I said. Not the yelling. Not the drama. Not the apology tour. I grabbed my bag from the closet. Already packed. I'd known deep down for days. I'm moving out tonight. Don't call. Don't text. Don't send me playlists or long emails about closure. This is the closure. She stood up suddenly, panic in her voice. Wait, please. Can we at least talk in a few days? Once things settle. I looked at her one last time. No, because I already talked to you for 10 years. And none of it mattered. I closed the door behind me, walked into the hallway. And just like that, I wasn't a husband anymore. The first night alone was quiet in a way I didn't expect. No buzzing phone. No clinking wine glasses. No low hum of her favorite crime documentaries playing in the background. Just the ticking of a thermostat and the occasional groan of the old radiator in the Airbnb I'd booked for the week. I sat on the edge of a rental couch with my duffel bag still zipped, wondering how I ended up here. Not in the physical sense, I knew exactly how I'd gotten here. But emotionally, I was still catching up. You don't just stop being someone's husband overnight. It doesn't matter how clear the betrayal is. Your brain still waits for the text. Still checks the time and thinks she's probably on her way home. But she's not. She's probably pacing that apartment right now, thinking of what to say next. What angle might win me back? Whether tears would land better than silence. She doesn't know that it's already done. I filed for divorce the next morning. Didn't call her first. Didn't give her a heads up. Just walked into the office with every screenshot, every video, every full glam weekend mapped neatly on a timeline that would make any judge nod twice. The lawyer asked if I wanted to serve her in person or by mail. I told him I didn't care as long as it was official. He nodded but gave me that look, the one that says you're handling this well when what they really mean is you don't look like a man who just lost his wife. But that's the thing. I didn't lose her. She'd been gone for a long time. What I lost was the version of me that thought love meant building something together. That if you gave enough, forgave enough, supported enough, that it would come back to you. I lost the guy who believed love couldn't fail if you just kept showing up. Turns out love can absolutely fail. All it takes is one person deciding they're not in it anymore and not telling you. She texted the next night. Said she just wanted to talk. That she understood if I needed space, but she needed closure. Then another message. It wasn't serious. Please don't throw away 10 years over one mistake. I stared at it for a long time. One mistake? It wasn't one night. It wasn't one slip-up at a bar. It was months of deceit. Of choosing someone else every single time. Of coming home to me, kissing me with a mouth that had just laughed for another man. She wanted closure. I wanted honesty. And we were both about a year too late for either. I didn't respond. I turned off my phone, opened a blank document, and just started typing. Everything I couldn't say to her face. Everything I'd been carrying. It wasn't for her. It was for me. A reminder that I hadn't gone crazy. That I saw the red flags, I trusted anyway, and I was still standing. There's this idea people have about men that we're supposed to take betrayal on the chin, say, it's fine, move on, maybe hit the gym and start dating someone new. But I didn't want to move on. I wanted to feel everything. All of it. The grief. The humiliation. The rage. The absurd comedy of handing your wife her affair partner like it was a referral bonus. I wanted to sit with it. Let it dig in. So when I finally let it go, I'd know it was real. Because this pain? It meant I still had a heart worth protecting. The first full week alone felt like learning to breathe again. Not the dramatic, cinematic kind where the air rushes in like salvation, but slow, stilted breaths. Like my lungs didn't trust that the world was safe yet. I stayed in that Airbnb longer than I planned. Extended my reservation twice without thinking. It was small, bare walls, scratchy towels, mismatched silverware. But it didn't lie to me. It didn't look me in the eye and tell me one story while living another. There was a strange relief in the simplicity. I started going for walks. Long ones. Just to burn time and clear whatever noise was still crowding my head. I'd pass brownstones, coffee shops, couples walking dogs, and sometimes I'd catch myself scanning faces. Like I expected to see her, tucked into a corner booth with him, laughing like nothing happened. But I never did. And after a while, I stopped looking. People always talk about closure like it's something someone gives you. I don't think that's true. Closure, for me, came one morning when I realized I hadn't thought about her since the night before. Not in anger. Not in pain. She simply wasn't there in my headspace, and for the first time in months, my chest didn't feel like it was carrying wet concrete. That same morning, she texted again. Said she missed me. That she was spiraling. That she made the worst mistake of her life. I didn't respond. Later that day, she emailed a long letter over 1,000 words. Half confession, half plea. She talked about how things had felt stale, how she thought maybe I had stopped seeing her. That when Marcus started complimenting her work, her beauty, her talent, it was like remembering something she forgot she had. I felt visible again, she wrote. Alive. Desired. She didn't say she loved him. She didn't say she wanted a life with him. She just kept circling the same sentence over and over. I didn't know how to ask for more from you. I read it twice. Then again. And somewhere around the third read, I realized something. She wasn't apologizing. She was explaining. Justifying. And maybe that was the real betrayal. Because in all those paragraphs, not once did she say, I saw what it did to you. I saw how I fractured the person who built a life around me. It was all about her emptiness. Not the hole she left in someone else. I didn't reply to the email either. Instead, I printed it. Folded it. Slid it into a notebook and wrote at the top of the page. Next time, ask the hard questions earlier. Because the truth is, I saw her slipping away. Long before Marcus. Long before the green dress and the hotel receipts. I just didn't want to believe it. I thought love was enough. That if you keep watering a dead plant, eventually it'll come back. But some things don't. Some things rot quietly, while you're still smiling at them. And if you're not careful, they take you with them. Not this time. It's been 5 months since I walked out of that apartment. She still texts sometimes. The messages have slowed, but they still come. Usually late at night. A memory. A quote. A photo of our cat curled in the sun. Like she thinks nostalgia might work better than guilt. It doesn't. I haven't blocked her. Not out of hope. Not out of weakness. But because ignoring someone is louder when they know you could respond and choose not to. I live in a new place now. Just outside the city. 1 bedroom. White walls. Big windows. Nothing fancy. But it's mine. Every object in it is something I chose, not something I had to compromise to keep. There are mornings now where I wake up and feel light. No waiting for a lie. No searching for someone else in my own home. I started running again. Something I hadn't done in years. At first, I told myself it was to clear my head. But the truth is, I just wanted to feel something that hurt in a way I could control. Physical pain. Clean pain. Miles in sweat and quiet sidewalks. I've reconnected with a few friends too. Not the ones who knew her. Not the couple friends we used to do wine nights with. Those people all went silent when the divorce papers were filed. Like they couldn't pick sides. Or didn't want to see what marriage could turn into when no one's watching. But the real ones? They showed up. Took me out. Let me vent. laughed with me, listened without rushing to turn it into a silver lining. One night, over drinks, my friend Jake asked if I missed her. I thought about it, and I told him no. I missed the version of her that existed in my head. The one I helped build. The one I projected loyalty onto even when the reality started to shift. But her? The woman who stood in front of me and lied to my face with eyes full of tears that meant nothing? No, I don't miss that. Because I finally understand something most people don't talk about. You don't just lose someone in a betrayal like that. You lose the version of yourself that accepted crumbs and called it love. And that's what hurt the most, not her leaving. Not the hotel. Not Marcus. What wrecked me was realizing how long I kept showing up for someone who had already checked out. And how long I let her. But not anymore. I'm not bitter. I'm not cynical. I'm just awake. Sometimes that's the gift betrayal gives you. Not healing. Not closure. But awareness. I don't need revenge. I don't need a rebound. I don't need anyone to tell me I was right. I just need this. A life where I no longer build castles on sand. A life where my peace isn't dependent on someone else's consistency. And maybe someday someone will walk into this new life I'm building. But until then, I'm not waiting. I'm not watching the door. I'm living. Because some people lose their wife to another man. I lost mine to a client I hand-delivered to her door. And I survived it. Now I get to decide what comes next. And this time, I'm building it alone on purpose.